Erased Destiny 2, The Knower. Chapter 15, When Nothing Goes as Planned. Working only every second day in the court brought Etien many benefits. She renovated the house, replaced the missing furniture and windows, leaving only the roof as it was, because she had no idea how to go about repairing it. Marigold agreed on working less, as she had more than enough money already, but didn't experience anything she longed for. So they utilized the free time equally. One day was for Etien and one for Marigold. Every night, they looked through a hole next to the chimney to observe the strange green-yellow phenomenon illuminating the night sky and tried to discover the source of this anomaly. Etien didn't go to the palace, despite having the plan ready and not achieving anything in Teardam. She was afraid that someone would recognize her, even if Zuzu put all death mages to sleep. Cyril brought no news. What's more, he didn't return home, so Etien hoped that he had come across a clue and was not buying up all warehouses. Uzuma had found a chest of drawers full of old clothes and notes that no one could understand. Several seekers spent days and nights translating the messages, but to no avail. Brice caused another section of the wall to collapse and had to lead the excavation sheltered in a tornado because the townspeople threw everything they could get their hands on at her. Her persistence was rewarded in a way. The woman discovered tunnels connected to the mine, clearly used by the mages. This allowed Etien to reconstruct a number of activities that the rebels engaged in, besides brewing opium and training adepts.
Mom, don't ignore me. I know my talking bores you, but I promise that as soon as we find Noemi, I will stop bothering you.
And what will you do when I find her? Do you have any plan?
Zuzu fell silent. None of the answers sounded right. I will try to come to an agreement with her. I will kill her before she disappears again. I will trap her in crystal to take over her powers and abilities. Etien stared ahead. She knew what means Zuzu had at her disposal. If Noemi does not decide to cooperate, they will have to. At the very thought of it, Etien gritted her teeth.
You won't win the war if you are full of doubts. You have to see your goal clearly. Then people shall follow you. Noemi, for example, knows exactly what she wants.
The throne, my death, and me? I would really like Noemi to let go. Confronting her bring only losses.
By thinking like that, you condemn yourself to defense. Defending your position. It is better to wage war on someone else's territory.
Zuzu wanted to reply that, to do that, she would have to find Noemi and discover her hiding place. But even then, it would still be her territory, belonging to the Crystal Palace.
And you? What would you do in my place?
I would give Elstar a body, like I did to Fidelis. Let him look for his sister and talk some sense into her. This should make Noemi angry, and angry people make mistakes.
That's an idea. I'll talk to Longori. If Elstar takes on the robe of the Master of Fire, Noemi will lose at least half of her reasons for revolution. Maybe the fire mages will abandon her. Yes, that makes sense.
Longori needs 2 years to prepare a body. That is a long time, so we need to do other things as well. If we are talking about bodies, could you give me back mine?
Zuzu stiffened herself. She hoped that Etien wouldn't bring that topic to the table.
Yes, but after we neutralize Noemi, your body keeps magical balance intact, despite Noemi's best efforts to destroy it and despite my magical hold. Your body is needed the most in the palace now, to protect people. But when the threat is gone, then sure. I talked to the crystal about it and they agreed with me.
I understand. But don't you think that in my old body, I would find Noemi much faster? And I would take care of the magical balance, even without your help.
Zuzu didn't answer. Etien understood what she couldn't say. They will never return Etienne's former body. The crystal prefers to have a puppet on the throne, someone like Zuzu, not powerful and independent Etien. After she is not longer useful to them, they will kill her, not only banish her like Elstar did.
We can talk about it later. For now, let's focus on our mission. Is Aylin asleep?
Yes, I can't feel her presence. I had to cut her off because of our relationship, and now she is constantly spying on me. She suspects that I have stopped trusting her. And that's not true. Can't anything be simple?
I used to wonder about that too. I think we complicate things unnecessarily. You are the lady. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone.
They teleported to the crystal chamber, from where Etien tried to get into Aylin's room. Through the wall, like in the old days. However, she bounced off the hard wall.
What a surprise. I don't have time to deal with the rightfully past rulers. I'll walk, what else?
She hid in the shadows and tried to remember the way to the top floor. She was afraid that, if she tracked Aylin with mind magic, it would wake her up, and not only the theft plan would be ruined. Luna, Etien involuntarily gritted her teeth at the thought. She couldn't meet with Luna because of Zuzu and Noemi. She didn't want to risk the last member of the old guard of mages dying an unpleasant death. Etien, although hidden in the darkness, changed her appearance to suit a man. A boy. For lack of better ideas, she made herself look like jargon. Zuzu watched her mother's somewhat panicked and redundant actions. She had exhausted death mages with 3 nights of stalking in a row so that none of them would wander the corridors and recognize their former leader. Especially the older mages, the ones who had been with Etien the longest. Zuzu followed her mother up the stairs for a moment. Seeing her confusion and uncertainty, she guided her to the right room. She casted a sleeping spell on Aylin just in case. With wind magic, she opened all the cupboards and drawers.
What do these stones look like?
Like stones, I suppose. They are a riot of colors, but despite that, they look just like any stone.
The retired ruler discreetly asked her daughter to leave the room. Her presence was distracting her. Etien first examined the contents of the drawers, then the bags lying next to the desk. Then she went to the wardrobe. However, she did not find anything. So she approached her former student and placed the hand on her head. She hoped that Aylin would attribute any mismatched thoughts to sleepy dreams.
The key to the future is what was lost in time.
In Aylin's mind, Etien felt like in a foreign world. She was surrounded by images and sounds, but they intertwined, creating a whole palette of events. Lost in a maze of blurred impressions, the woman reversed the spell. She had always thought that Aylin thought differently to other people. Now she was sure of it.
Did you find anything?
Etien looked under Aylin's bed. There was nothing there except for the clean floor. She looked around the room again. She climbed on tiptoe. There was something on the wardrobe. With poison ivy, she reached for a wooden box. It was locked. Since she couldn't see a key anywhere, Etien turned into a ghost. The immaterial being looked inside the box, where crushed minerals were resting. Greenish and translucent, Etien went out into the hallway. Through the wall, like any self-respecting lord, even the one deprived of former privileges. She hoped that she would return to human form by morning and would not have to participate in trials hovering over the bench. She whispered to her daughter to take her clothes to the forest house.
Did you find the stones?
It looks like Aylin destroyed them. They are crushed in the box on the wardrobe. I'll talk to Gabriel. With his help, I'll try to recreate the stones. And you clean up her room.
Zuzu took her mother home, along with her clothes and a fair share of treats. She hoped that this would appease her mother a little, or at least reduce the resentment she showed. The phantom, who no longer had a stomach, ignored the gifts. Still incorporeal, she dived into the pantry full of herbs. She wanted to prepare properly for her visit to the land of death. Etien was expecting Gabriella's visit, but not the first thing in the morning, not while the witnesses were still being heard. When he saw Uzumad with an unknown old woman, Phineas quickly organized a replacement for the young knower. Marigold didn't even have time to thank him, because Uzumaat grabbed her hand and they teleported to the cabin in the forest, where Sonja was waiting for them, laden with books that Etien had asked for. They were all about healing, the undead, energy manipulation, herbs, and magical ingredients, rather unpopular topics. Etien didn't have time to look at them, because Gabriella hissed at her.
Quickly, I don't have all day. What did you want to talk to me about?
Etien felt it would be appropriate to show at least a hint of joy at her return, or respect for the honorary member of the Vampire Lodge. On the other hand, Gabriella was the oldest vampire Etien knew, and the strangest.
3 topics: Naomi, me, Uzumayet. Discussed in that exact order, otherwise you'll return to the Pale Castle right after the 3rd one. What's wrong with Naomi?
Excessive fire. She is burning because of her own magic. She has long exceeded the regenerative capabilities of our bodies, and none of my potions are helping her now. Naomi is becoming less and less physical, more and more like a ghost.
Not good. I've never had to deal with a case like this. But I have an idea. I'll need phoenix feathers. A lot of them.
Uzumat will pluck one bird. Anything else besides the feathers?
Etien said that Nadia and Milren would be needed after she had finished preparing. She was able to obtain or produce the other ingredients herself.
2nd topic, me. I'm stuck in this not-so-magical body with a roommate to boot. Can you get me out?
Gabriella approached Marigold and quickly felt her body. The girl let out a surprised yelp and tried to escape, but Etien immobilized her body. She had always wondered how Gabriella was able to determine someone's health status by simply touching them. She didn't cast spells or observe someone's aura. She just felt.
I can't do this. You are incomplete, unstable. There is too much magic in you, and you have become the daughter of death. And I thought you wouldn't complicate your existence anymore. I know even less about the children of the elements than I do about angels. Thanks to studying your case, I have expanded our library, and here I have another challenge. I wish I had the time to examine you thoroughly.
Etien was glad that Gabriella did not have time to examine her. These examinations sometimes resulted in her being skinned, sometimes having her arm cut off, and often other ailments such as loss of consciousness or vision. The daughter of death. This explained the unusual coloration of the magiflower petal and the inability to cast spells from other domains.
Alternatively, you could try transformation. Only a half vampire is an option here.
Etien tried not to show her disappointment. Another piece of the puzzle was slipping through her fingers. An insurmountable wall was rising right in front of her face. Since she couldn't leave the body, she had to work on rebuilding it, and also find an alternative place for Marigold. Marigold started to protest, but Etien called her to order. She promised to talk to her later, in private, not in the company of Gabriella, Uzumayat, and Sonja.
This body needs to be improved. Any ideas?
Put crystals in the body. Equip it with seals that increase power for a change. I can embed a crystal in you with another spirit trapped in the stone. This should allow you to cast spells from other domains, but it's not very convenient.
I want to look like I used to.
She traced the expected shapes with her hands, more profuse than those intended for Marigold.
A good scalpel will do the trick. Uzumat, I heard he transformed again. Why?
Because he likes fighting me too much, I guess. Do you have a new body for him?
I have, several in fact, but I'm afraid it won't solve anything. His transformations started with a change of body.
Really? That's interesting. So it's not the body that's the problem, but his spirit. That opens up new possibilities for us.
Gabriella immediately stopped fidgeting nervously. Suddenly, she wasn't in such a hurry anymore. She waited patiently for Etien to think the topic over.
You know how curses work, don't you? They affect the body, but they destroy something completely different. What if we imagined that Uzumayat was hit by something similar, something that can't be seen?
That's a very interesting hypothesis. I've been wondering about it too, but I don't sense any curse on him.
Neither do I. It's just that with vampires, things are more difficult than with mortals. Most curses don't affect you at all. I have an idea, but I don't have enough materials to verify it. Moon dust. The priestess's pendulum. The ink you used to paint the symbols on my skin.
We'll provide everything. I already have a rough idea of what you've come up with, so I know what you need. I would have verified it myself, but my skills in the field of curses are not as developed as yours. You transformed a deadly curse. Maybe you'll succeed here too. You will get the package tomorrow morning.
Gabriella disappeared. Uzuma remained, and with him, Sonja.
What made me so eager to meet with Gabriella? I have even more work ahead of me and impossible tasks. What have I gotten myself into?
You are trying to save us, if I understood correctly. Is a bag of feathers enough? Or is it better to deliver the whole carcass to the door?
The feathers will suffice. In return, I want Nathan. Dig him up if he's hiding underground. Vampires are more talented at mind magic than mortals. You have the best trackers. It will be an easy and pleasant task for you. Nathan for Naomi. If I'm going to push the boundaries of the impossible, I might as well make use of it.